All right, so the Vikings. I'll let you go first.
So this one I feel like is the all important offseason for Kirk Cousins, even though he's not really in control of what the team does in terms of team building. Like the narrative for the Vikings franchise and them always choking in the playoffs, for Kirk Cousins always choking, like they need to build up the defense. That's what it comes down to. The offense is plenty explosive. They have a head coach and Kevin O'Connell, head coach, play caller, first year. They did really well. They were one of the best teams in the NFL. The offense for most of the season was very, very good and was putting it together, but they need to build up the defense. That was their Achilles heel all year long. When they dropped the ball, it was usually because of the defense. So you have to be able to build up the defense. They have a bunch of old guys on the defense. They need to build it with young guys and get that team to perform. And then we'll see, if they can build it up through free agency and through the draft and at least get some more talent on the defense, then we'll have a good idea of whether or not Kevin O'Connell needs to go and get a new DC or not. You know what I mean? So for me, if I were the Vikings front office, my highest priority would be build the defense. We have to get a pass rush, and we have to get guys that can stop the run. Because over the last couple of years, they've gotten a couple of young guys in their secondary that it feels like they can rely on. They just have to have those young guys be more consistent, which again might come with more experience in the league, might come with more experience for the DC calling plays. So I think, again, it comes down to the defense for me, and that's going to be a big turning point or a big talking point this season as to whether or not Kirk Cousins is ever going to be able to get it done in the playoffs.
I think the future is really bright in Minnesota. I think this team's on the upswing, and I think I think everything you just talked about is spot on. And I think even from a recruitment period, for bringing in a DC, for bringing in players, veterans, I think there's an entire sales pitch there to the entire locker room, everybody in it, anybody you want to bring into the locker room is what I wanted to say. There is a very valid sales pitch. We are on the brink of winning this thing. And I don't know that anybody can argue. And we talked about that with the Colts 2 years ago. The recruiting for the Colts 2 years ago should have just been simple. And it was. I mean, guys were coming here. Everybody knew where the direction they were headed. So I think that's what the Vikings have. In contrast, we're getting ready to talk about the Bills. I think the Bills have a little different problem. They have a doubt situation in their locker room that they have to fix. The Vikings have had that for 30 years. And I think this is the argument to get them out of it. I think they're really on the brink of doing something amazing and possibly winning the Super Bowl if they can put the right pieces in. And I think that's an easy sell from them. The Vikings should look forward to another really big season next year.
Yeah, and it just feels like kind of to piggyback off what you're talking about, if the players in the locker room and as close as they are, as good as they were this season, if the front office makes a real attempt to make this football team noticeably better, that'll translate to the locker room. All right, we have the guy, and that doubt that creeps in won't creep in anymore. They'll be like, all right, we have what it takes. So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen now. And I think that's something that could be palpable with the front office. This is a GM. The GM came in at the same time as a head coach. Both these guys were in their first year in 2022. So it's only the second offseason he has to work. We'll see what he's able to do in 2023.